Hot shit. Check it out. Hit you with no delaying, so what you saying, yo? Silly with my 9 milli with the dilly, yo. When I be on the mic, yes, I do my duty, yo. While up in the club like we while in the studio.
Welcome to Press Pass Live. Grown Folks Mad League is in week 10. Can you guys believe that? We seem to have just had the draft the other day, and it's already week 10, and it's time to start thinking about the playoffs and things like that as we kind of roll through the season here. So I'm glad that you guys are joining us. We put it up live, and nobody was free to join. So tonight we're recording it, and we're going to post it up for everybody. So thank you for joining and listening, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. So let's hop right in there. We're going to take a look at week 8 and 9. So let's hit the schedules. Come over here to week 8. Had a lot of turnover lately. I think it's a good thing, just trying to find some active owners and guys who want to be part of the league and want to be part of what we're doing. So it's a good thing, but at the same time, there's so much turnover. It's hard to figure out what the teams look like and who are the real contenders and who are the pretenders like me and my Saints. So let's hop right in there. The Buccaneers fall to the Raiders, and the Raiders pick up their first team. I told him last week when I did the show, and I said on the show, that I really like the Raiders. I think that they are a very good team who's still trying to figure out his team, but once he does, this is going to be a team who contends in the AFC. Derek Carr goes 17 for 23, 222 and a touchdown. Jameis Winston actually didn't play too bad. I mean, he passes for 179 with a touchdown. He does throw a pick. And Dakar, I don't know what his name is, Thomas, 10 rushes, 70 yards with a long of 51. That's kind of my question there, is what happened to their running game. Bobby Rainey is a good player for them. I question what happened to their running game this day. Whereas Murray had a great game, 15 carries, 113 yards. Marcel Reese actually has 4 attempts for 82 and 2 touchdowns with a long of 72. So they found their running game, and it looks like they just had just enough at home to squeak out a win against the Buccaneers. They played a really good defense. TJ Carey with an interception, Dan Williams with a sack, AJ Williams with a forced fumble, Nate Allen, can't believe he's still in the league. He has 3 tackles. Raphael Bush, the ex-Saint, has 5 tackles. You never want to see your safety kind of leading your team in tackles, but that was a really good game. A big win for the Raiders, something they needed moving into the offseason here soon. And a big loss for the Bucks, who have really put it together and are tops in the NFC South right now. The Dolphins fall against the Jets 31-34 in a game of 2 teams who are struggling this year. The Browns really put up a lot of points against an Eagles team who's also struggling, 45-14. That Eagles team is a good team. I think he's just got knocked off of his game, so to speak, early on and has struggled ever since. The Redskins with a big win to move to 6-2, 38-35 over the Steelers. This was actually our game of the week, and it was a good one. Big Ben, 3 touchdowns, but 4 interceptions. Matt Barkley doesn't do much better. Under 100 yards, under 50%, and an interception. But they had the running game. 10 rushes, 146 yards. That's a 14.6 average, 83 long with a touchdown. Levante Bell also rushed it really well. 21 rushes, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Antonio Brown doing his thing, 3 receptions, 110 yards with a touchdown. Sammy Coates, 5 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown. You see those kinds of numbers, and you wonder, how the hell did the Redskins stay in this game? Well, they stayed in it because Big Ben couldn't stop turning the ball over with 4 interceptions. Derek Jean gets 2 interceptions. D'Angelo Hall gets 1. Chris Culliver gets 1. Junior Gillette gets 2 sacks. Derek Jean also throws in 5 tackles on the day. And the Redskins used the defense to beat the Steelers at home. And that was a really, really good game between two really good teams. Next up, the Seahawks fall to the Cowboys 42-24. My Saints got blasted by the Chargers 31-7. This was actually a new owner who I just say his gameplay didn't fit here. And I went ahead and finished the game and then gladly rescinded the offer to stay here. Nice guy. His gameplay just didn't fit and handed me a pretty embarrassing loss. Next up, the Ravens lose to the Bengals 52-20. This game was actually a sim win for the Bengals as the Ravens have fallen off the league. They've just disappeared. He got in an accident, he said, a couple of weeks ago, but has been playing in other leagues but not playing here, so we actually are in the process of replacing him tonight. Then the Broncos with a big victory to move to 9-0 undefeated over the Titans 34-31. The Titans, our co-commissioner here, Ducks, actually moved over to the 49ers for a new challenge. But this was a really good game. Logan Thomas has played exceptionally well this year. 27-36, 365, 4 touchdowns. Marcus Mariota struggled, 172 yards, a touchdown, but he did have an interception. Jeremy Langford played well, 15 attempts for 99 yards and a touchdown. Duke Johnson played okay, 9 attempts, 88 yards. You wonder why he didn't get the ball more. They just felt like they had to pass, I guess, to keep up with the Titans. Brandon Cooks with a big game for the Titans, 5 receptions, 114 yards. But Demaryius Thomas, 9 receptions for 167 and 2 touchdowns. As you'll see as we move on, he kind of put it to me the following week, and Thomas is a tough guy to try to guard. So this was a really good game between two really good teams. It'd be interesting to see what Ducks does over in San Francisco now, but the AFC looks like it belongs to the Denver Broncos again this year. The Patriots beat up on the Colts 26-15. The Panthers win 23-3 against the Chiefs. The Giants lay the hammer down on the Bears 41-6. The Falcons with a big victory over the Rams 30-17. Next up, the Texans win 28-7 against the Packers. And there is a look at Week 8. So let's move really quickly over to Week 9. You got the 49ers falling on the road 24-17 to the Dolphins. The Dolphins are one of those teams that never hear from the owner. He just kind of plays his games here and don't really know much else about him. He's kind of struggled this year. And, of course, Ducks over the 49ers has a lot to figure out about his team. The Cardinals, the best team in the NFC, with a 44-10 victory over Junior and the Bills. I think it's Junior. No, Junior's now with the Lions. That's right. So I can't think of who the Bills are right now. But the Cardinals with a big victory over them. The Titans with a big victory over the Colts, 21-16. The Rams hold it close to the Patriots, 31-24. The Rams are a really interesting team. I like what he's doing. He's getting the hang of his team. And he's going to really make some moves in the offseason and be really interesting next season. Ryan Alden, the rookie, has a great game. 12 for 26, 241, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Todd Gurley, 16 carries, 56 yards. LeGarrette Blount struggled, 20 carries for 60, but he does have 2 touchdowns. Alex Smith goes 13 for 27, 222, a touchdown, but he throws 2 picks. Jamel Elmore, the number 2 pick in the draft, he has 6 receptions for 121, a touchdown with a long of 71. He's a really good player, and he's going to be making plays in the Grown Folks League for a long time. This game just came down to both teams playing some really good defense and their offense turning those turnovers into points. I'd like to see the Rams run the ball just a little bit more. I think that you can milk that clock a little bit and keep it even a little closer and maybe even steal a victory on the road. But that's a good game for the Rams, and I think that's going to build some confidence. Next up, the Giants win against the Lions 35-28. The Lions have struggled this year for some reason. They fall to 2-7, and they've really struggled to find their identity on offense. A team that's known for defense has been giving up a lot of points this year. The Chargers lose to the Texans 22-19. The Bengals fall to the Steelers 35-21. I think that this might have been our game of the week last week. Two exceptionally good teams, and that's one that I wish I would have gotten to watch, but I haven't. I've been so busy, I haven't got to watch many games lately. So let's look at some stats. Andy Dalton, 2 touchdowns but 2 interceptions, 328 yards is pretty good in 16 of 28. But Big Ben, off of the 3 touchdown, 4 interception week last week, turns those numbers around. 3 touchdowns, does throw 2 picks. You don't want to see him throw so many interceptions there, but again, Levante Bell has a good day. 13 carries, 78 yards. If he gets a few more carries, he's going to be well over 100. And the Bengals all year have just struggled to find a running game, and it looked like they've just basically abandoned it this game. Only 9 total carries for their running backs. Kendall Wright has a huge day, 4 receptions, 150 yards. Tyler Alford, 5 receptions, 118 yards. On the other side, Sammy Coates follows up last week he had a big game. So did he this one. 5 receptions, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns with a long of 63. Stephon Tuitt, 2 sacks. Michael Hyde, an interception. Brandon Boykin, an interception. And the Steelers get a big victory on the road against the Bengals, who haven't got to play in a couple weeks, and he's struggling to kind of find that rhythm again. The Panthers with a big win over a Seahawks team who was looking really promising, 31-14, and the Panthers are right in the hunt in the NFC South. The Jaguars with a 30-20 victory over the Bears. The Cowboys with a 40-3 victory, another sim win, I think, over the Ravens. The Chiefs with a 35-22 victory over the Raiders. I thought the Raiders were going to get the ball rolling after the big win last week. They were at home again, but the Chiefs dropped one, and they were looking to bounce back. The Broncos put it to my Saints pretty good, 38-6. The Vikings with a 52-10 victory over the Packers to also move to 9-0. And the Broncos and Vikings look to be 2 of the strongest teams that we have in the league, but don't forget those Cardinals are right there, and they're going to be looking to make some noise once the playoffs get here. So we're sitting here in Week 10. A lot of games are already done. We're well over half. We've got a little over a day left. So tomorrow night's going to be the advance. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, but one of those is going to be a sim game, that Ravens game. So 4 games that we're looking to get in. Let's take a quick look at your playoff race and how it's kind of shaping up. In the AFC, you got the Broncos with the number 1 seed, Steelers with the number 2, Titans with the number 3, Patriots number 4, Ravens, that new owner is going to inherit a playoff team. They're number 5, and the Bengals are hanging in there at number 6. You got the Chiefs, the Jaguars, and the Texans right there on the bubble, still fighting for a playoff spot. Over in the NFC, you got the Vikings at number 1, the Cardinals at number 2. It's fun to watch those 2 teams just kind of battle back and forth. The power in the NFC really got a true rivalry starting to form over here. Then you got the Redskins, the surprise team this year, who's played really, really well. The Buccaneers, the Falcons, and then my Saints, who have now lost 3 in a row. So the Bears, Panthers, Cowboys are all on the bubble trying to fight for a wild card spot, and it's going to be really fun to see how that kind of culminates and comes to an end. So here are your division leaders: New England, Pittsburgh, Tennessee, Denver in the AFC, and then Washington, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Arizona in the NFC. Your AFC West looks pretty much wrapped up, whereas your AFC North is a really good battle. Cleveland is still in it. The AFC South, the Tennessee Titans are starting to pull away a little bit, but the Jags and Houston are still in it, and mathematically Indy is still in it. The AFC West looks to be pulling away a little bit as Denver is now 9-0. NFC East looks like it's starting to be wrapped up by those Redskins. A couple more wins, and that one might be over. And NFC North looks to be almost wrapped up. The Vikings are 9-0. That's going to be tough to come from 4 games back. NFC South is a really tight battle. All those teams are in it. All those teams are battling. And I think Tampa Bay actually had a huge victory this week over the Atlanta Falcons. And then the NFC West belongs to the Cardinals, and they look to be the powerhouse. So not a whole lot left up for grabs in the NFC. The NFC South is going to be the fun battle to see how that kind of culminates at the end of the season and who can pull that one out. So a lot of really good blogs. I wanted to show you guys the website really quick. Got my predictions up here. Of course, I'm 5-0, but this is going to be another sim week, and so that's not going to count for me. But I am so far my game of the week. My predictions have went very well for me, and I'm excited about next week. So we're going to be advancing tomorrow night. Check out the blogs though. There's a lot of really good stuff, and if you want to participate, if you're new here, participate in the blogs. You can go to the Coach Incentive Plan. Check it out. We give you some really cool stuff. So this was Press Pass Live number 12 from week 6 and 7. And tonight we're doing 8 and 9. And the next Sunday, we'll get the rest of them up. There's a good look at your championship ring from Mr. F from this past season. And then Coach Winovus did a hot seat a couple weeks ago. And we will update that this week and do another new hot seat. If you're wondering what the betting thread is, go right over to the main chat and you can get a good view. The Daddy League has a sports book which gives you all of the lines for all of the games. Basically, everyone starts with 100 points. We're going to cut this off in 2 advances for week 12. So after week 12, you won't be able to jump back in. But first, second, and third place are all going to get a really neat incentive. Right now, Ducks has 100. I got $50. Dogs has 100. Pre-approved running away with 200. Dougalicious 199. Nolan with 50. And Beastball with 10. Benner and Winovus have both went bust, and we have a couple of bets who are laid out for us this week. So jump in next week and come be a part of the betting thread. It's just a fun way that we can add some more incentives. Check out the Buckman's Big Board template. This is an easy way that Winovus has given us to track and log and enjoy the draft just a little bit more. It'll be fun to have him this year part of the draft so that he can really do the draft show with us and be a part of it. So I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to just kind of get into the off season. You're coming through the playoffs. Things are going to really heat up, and we're really super excited about that. So let's take a really quick look at some rookies. Told you we'd look at some rookies and see how our first draft wave of players are doing in Grown Folks so far. Parker Austin for Buffalo is leading the quarterbacks right now. But again, St. Louis has now started Ryan Alden. I think he may end up being your number 1 quarterback. Of course, Philadelphia's quarterback got hurt for a majority of the season. He also is playing really good. But right now, Parker Austin is leading with 1,686 passing yards. Rushing yards, you got Deshaun Hayes in Seattle. He really likes him after losing his running back, Marshawn Lynch, last year and doing some trades. He really likes this running back that he drafted early in the first. 628 yards. Decatur Thomas got his first start, I think, this year in Tampa Bay. 482 yards to be number 2. And then right on his heel, Trey Green, and then Trey Brandon and Caesar McFadden, a quarterback over in Tennessee, is going to be 5th. Receiving yards, my guy, Travis Morris, or Tavares, Morrison, 658 yards. Him and Jamil Elmore are kind of going back and forth. But don't count out Connor Rucker, who's really the 3rd or 4th option on that team. And then Tyrone Potty. He's kind of taken a step back here in the last couple of weeks, but lots of good receivers in this rookie class this past year. Let's look at the defense so far. Bryson Byers for the Jets with 35 tackles. He's kind of leading the way over there in New York. Sean Elliott for New England's leading in sacks with 4. And then interceptions. Trayvon Brandon in Indianapolis, and Sean Galvin in San Diego. Those two guys are leading the pack with 4 interceptions each. And so there's a look at what your rookies are looking like so far this year. And it'll be interesting to see who kind of pulls out that Rookie of the Year. I think that Rookie of the Year for offense is going to be from your receiving core. There's a lot of good receivers out there that are making plays. And then over on the defense, it's probably going to be, a tackle leader, maybe an interception leader. I don't know. You're not really getting a whole lot of impact over on the defensive side as you are with the offensive side. So there you have it. There's a look at week 8 and 9 in Grown Folks. A look at your standings and your playoffs, your rookies. So we're excited how things are progressing. We do have 2 teams open right now. We've got the Ravens and we also have the Bears. Both teams are in the playoff hunt and fighting for a playoff spot. And so if you know of anyone who wants to do more than just play, we kind of know who we are and what I want and what I don't want. And I'm not really looking for guys who just want to come in and play. If it's guys who want to be part of the community, look, you don't have to do all the blogs and all the articles. You don't have to do all that, but you got to at least visit our forums, participate in the chat every now and then, and get your games in on time and make sure that you're scheduling your games. So if you know somebody, send them our way. But check out the blog. Lots of good stuff. You got stuff in here. The Colts, there you go. The Colts, the Jets, the Bills have some stuff in here. The Cardinals have some, not the Cardinals, the San Francisco 49ers have some stuff in here. Texans have some stuff in here. Lots and lots of good stuff. So check out the blog. Catch up with what's going on here. The draft, the playoffs, the offseason, all that stuff is going to be here before we know it. We're going to see how we handle Christmas break, but we're probably going to just extend it a couple of extra days to give everybody traveling. But we're asking, we do have in the forum an out-of-town thread. So if you know you're going to be traveling, you're not going to be around, let us know in here, please. Just make a post. Just let us know when you're going to be out, when you're going to be back. That way, if your game isn't played, it's not scheduled, we know what to do, and we know what's what, and we won't sim you or let you go or anything like that. I know life happens, and family comes first, and we want you to enjoy your holiday, but at the same time, we just don't want to wait around for nothing. So just keep us in the loop. Let us know what's what. Thank you guys for listening to the show. We're going to put up a new video kind of covering our rules for the new guys who are joining. So I'm excited, and I'm glad that you guys are here and that we have a great year going on. We're going to post some threads up here in the next probably 4 to 5 weeks that ask for input from the owners about the next season. So if you feel like you have some you'd like to contribute and to move our league forward, please let us know, and we'd love to take your input and then figure out how we can make it the best place that we can. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you for weeks 10 and 11 next Sunday, and have a great week. We'll see you on the other side.